yesterday's omnibus includes $5 million for International Planned Parenthood and all sorts of new opportunities for taxpayers to fund abortion. Now, what's actually that's really upsetting. What's even more upsetting, however, is what's going into the new appropriations process. And right now, we see abortion groups and the Obama administration cooperating with $1.5 billion in new taxpayer funding of domestic abortions and international abortions. Whether you agree or disagree with abortion and all of that, over 60% of Americans do not think their taxes ought to be paying for something like that, especially in a time of acute economic crisis.
Before the Obama administration and under the Bush administration, under Clinton, were tax dollars used to fund abortion?
Very briefly, because as you remember, Clinton was only completely in charge for a short period of time. Then the Congress was taken over, partly in reaction, in '94. So by the Republicans again. So very briefly did something like this happen. But what we're looking at now happening, the full funding of abortion in every single federal program that you can find an abortion in, hasn't been the case since the Carter years.
I know that the part of the federal funding for abortion is to pay for abortions over in third world countries. Very often the Obama administration, he prided himself on attacking President Bush because of our horrible image in third world countries. How do Islamic countries feel about us using federal tax dollars to fund abortions in their countries?
It's really crazy at a time when the Obama administration and liberals in particular are so concerned about our reputation, whether people like us, want to sit down and have dinner with us in other countries. When you start exporting our liberal abortion laws and start aborting the babies of Muslims and other countries, certainly Muslims, but also Catholic-dominated countries, when you start going in there through your private organizations and aborting their kids, they don't like it. They're insulted. They think they can manage their own population at least as good as we can, and certainly better. So it's insulting, it's undermining of their own laws, and it's undermining of their sovereignty. So it really diminishes us in the nation's eyes.
On a happier note, you're with Team Sarah. How do you see Sarah Palin's chances for the presidential nomination in 2012?
Well, look, there is no one who has earned the right to talk about running for president more than Sarah Palin. But I think even she doesn't know if that is the choice for her now. What I'm happy to see, and I had no part in making happen, I'm just happy to see, is the fact that she has really stepped back. She had a chance to really take over, let's just be honest. She could have really taken over a lot of areas of the Republican Party if she had chosen to. In my view, she's never said that, but I certainly think so. Instead, she had the self-control to go back home, during session especially, be a great governor at a time of crisis, and really come through for the citizens that elected her. I think that was a strong position to take. In terms of her chances, the straw poll here at CPAC will tell what the conservative base thinks. But I think I think right now, she needs to do what she's doing, do it well, and then we can talk about it again later. But there's no question about her popularity.
The hard left says that the reason she stepped back is because she found herself unable to compete on the national scene. How do you feel about that, and how does she feel about it?
I feel it's laughable. It's laughable because there's no one who has captured the imagination of the American public since Ronald Reagan, in my view, like Sarah Palin. Sarah Palin took, you know what really happened? She wouldn't say this, but I do. She lost trust in the political elites, and I think when you do that, you decide I'm going to go back, figure out who I trust, do a fabulous job as a governor in the place where I was elected, be a person of integrity, which is the very reason that people liked her in the first place, do a good job there, and then see where the Lord leads her, or see where destiny leads her after that. I think the hard left, however, has done a great job of starting the drumbeat of undermining her already. They're good at it.
They're good at it. Did the tough question, and maybe one you don't want to answer, there was a strong feeling that the McCain operatives undercut Sarah Palin and steered her in the wrong direction, particularly at the outset of the campaign before she said, no more. Can you comment on that?
Sure. I mean, campaigns are rife with human beings. They seem to be made up of human beings all the time. There's no way around it. There were some in there that were fabulous and loyal to her, and there were some that were undermining and resented her candidacy. There's no question about it. I think that if I were her communications director, I would have waited her out in the shallow waters of the media before I put her on the national, hostile media so quickly. It's hindsight is 20/20. She could have also said no thanks, but it seemed the thing to do at the time, having gone so quickly into that environment. The short answer is there were people on her side and people that weren't on her side, and the result was a very stressful and difficult time for her and her family.